The thumbs up. Are we live? We are live.
There we are. Here we go.
Welcome back, everybody.
What up?
Another full strength episode of SVT.
Back at it finally. Here we are.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Good. How are you guys doing?
I'm doing
Shiny.
pretty darn good. A little hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little toasty.
A little hot out there, but not hot to a hot to a.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord.
Already.
But
In a time capsule this episode.
you know, this episode is brought to you by
Hot Tua.
Aramark and the Sharks.
I could tell when you walked in, I was like, oh, is that the Barracuda Cup?
It's the Barracuda Cup.
Oh,
with
nice.
with a nice Montucky cold snack.
There you
Nice.
Ice
Not a
cold.
bad. Mine is the 75-cent Target cups because I needed a replacement fast for those old A's cups that I had.
Oh, we gotta hook you up, brother. We gotta get you some aluminum San Jose Barracuda.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
How was your guys' weekend?
It's good. I'm trying to remember what the heck I did on Saturday.
We
Sunday,
got
I
some
went to go see a
episodes
concert I went to go see a concert in San Francisco, but I can't remember what the hell I did on Saturday. Oh, it was my nephew's graduation party. That's why.
Oh,
I had to
nice.
go grill in 100-degree weather. It was great.
Out of
Loved
bed.
it.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was in Tracy for one of my friend's baby showers, so that was hot as hell. He did have a tent and he had misters and stuff, but it was still warm. It was toasty out there for sure.
Nice. What did I do? San Jose was. We went to San Jose, shopped, bought a whole bunch of jeans in this
Nice.
hot ass weather.
Yeah.
But I needed jeans. Your boy needed jeans. All right. Well, Tim, how was your weekend? We got to ask Tim how he was doing.
Yeah, I went to a water park and I didn't get a single drop of water on me. I was a pack mule for my daughter and her friend. So
Oh,
but
man.
it was fun. It was
I was
fun.
going to say you're the only one out of us that did it right and we went to go somewhere cool. Well, we all did something that was unrelated to a hot weather, like getting jeans in the hot summer air. But then you didn't get any pool time. So
Yep.
what the heck, man?
Hey,
Yeah,
I
but
just wanted to
at
be
least
part
I
of
was in the
crowd.
mall with AC. Tim went
Yeah.
to the water park and like just stood there.
Yep. Yep.
Tough break.
Tim is so slick. He's the only man that can go to a water park and not get wet.
Exactly. I'm like the I forget.
The
He's
joke
that
was
guy.
there.
He's that guy.
I'm that guy.
Yeah, that guy.
All right, guys, let's get this thing back on the train tracks here. We got a little bit of positive news here, Vince. Maybe San Francisco 49ers. It's being reported that Brandon Ayuk is meeting with the Niners front office.
Mhm.
So it's Ayuk, his agent, Shanahan, and Lynch, and they're going to try to iron this thing out. Is that?
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're hearing, right?
That's the thing. They're meeting today. They're probably either still meeting or they just got out of a meeting or something. I don't know exactly where they are on the timeline, but it happened today, and hopefully they've got it all worked out. And maybe we even have breaking news while we're going live here. I don't know. I'd love for that to happen, but we'll see, man. Even if they can just at least get within, shouting distance of each other. I said last week on the show that with Ayuk talking to Jaden Daniels, his former college teammate, about how they don't want him or something like that. It was like it was do or die time, and here they are a week later. Like I said, we would hear something about it, and they
Absolutely.
hopefully doing, and if he does end up getting traded, I'm sure they're going to try to get top value for him. But we'll see. Again, we talked about where we think his money is probably worth and where he's asking, and it's just a lot of stuff. The receiver market, there it is, got blown out of proportion with Jefferson getting his bag, and then hell, like T. Higgins got paid a lot more than he probably should have. So we'll see where he goes. I think Ayuk's probably feels like he's worth T. Higgins' money, and I think Cincinnati may have fucked the 49ers if that's so.
Right.
We'll see though. I just hope that this talk is positive and they don't end up trading him, out of this.
Yeah, I have to interpret this as
We lost you there,
When I-
Sam. Oh,
Very
From
good. Now you're back.
what I'm understanding is Brandon Ayuk is the one that wanted the meeting.
Mhm.
So I have to think that, he wants to hear what the 49ers are saying and what his agent is saying. Like, he wants to hear everything from the horse's mouth, which I think is a good thing. And maybe there's some terms that he wants to clarify, and things are getting lost in translation of business. So
Mhm.
I have to think of this as a positive for Ayuk and the 49ers. Quick question, Vince, before we move off of it. If the 49ers trade Brandon Ayuk, and let's say they get some draft capital back,
Mhm.
what does that do to their Super Bowl window right now? Do you think it?
I don't think it affects it terribly too much, because they did address wide receiver in the draft, and they spent a first rounder on Ricky Pearsall. So I don't think he's at Ayuk's level at all, right now. But maybe he runs better routes or something and can be relied on as well. It took Brandon Ayuk 2 years for sure. Like, he was in the doghouse in his second year, basically the entirety of it. Um, so it's we'll see what happens with that. I don't think that him leaving closes the window. I think it makes it a little tougher, but I don't
Yeah.
think it's closed by any means.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So hopefully we get a little bit later in the show. Tim, let's move on to the NBA Finals. Let's get that. Boston wins it, guys. Kind of
Gentlemen's sweep.
not really a shocker. I think we got,
Yeah.
Porzingis, even though he was injured, made an appearance and had a good sighting. He played quality minutes, even being injured. What was your guys' thoughts on the game? Boston wins that final game, 106-88, takes the series 4-1, gentleman sweep, 18th title. So they're
breaks
now,
the tie with the Lakers.
breaks
Yeah,
the
so
tie with the Lakers.
they're in front now.
When Pritchard hit that buzzer beater half court shot to go up like 23 points at half, I was like, it's over.
Yeah,
It's over.
It's a wrap. Yeah, it was in the end a fairly uneventful finals, which is unfortunate. You do kind of want to get good games at the end there, and most of them were just kind of laughers. And the 106-88, I mean, that's it. Was that 18-point blowout? Yeah, it like you basically led by 20 and then just traded buckets the rest of the way for from the entire second half. I don't know, man. Jaylen Brown ends up getting the MVP, even though Jason Tatum put up like ungodly statistics.
Right.
It's just so people are still talking about like Jason Tatum or whatever, like, oh, like he's getting the Steph Curry treatment is what I'm seeing now. When that first championship for the Warriors, when people were like trying to doubt the greatness of Steph because he didn't win the Finals MVP or whatever. So I'm seeing that trend start to happen for Jason Tatum, and we'll just I don't know if you want to poke the bear, too much, guys.
Did you guys see that they did some video comparisons of Jason Tatum's speech when they interviewed him post game, and it's damn near not necessarily word for word, but like it's so close to like how Kevin Garnett's little speech about anything is possible, and he yelled. Jason Tatum did the same thing, and then like they interviewed him in the locker room, and Jason Tatum saying that what are they going to do now? What are they going to do now? And it was the exact same thing that Steph Curry said. And then he took his picture, his iconic picture, because, obviously he's a big Kobe Bryant fan. So, but he's getting a lot of shit now because they're like, you had the game where Boston won was the 14th, and then they won 3 days later. They're like, you had 3 days to practice whatever you wanted to say, knowing you were going to win this thing. And you copied other people's speeches? Come on, man. You had 3 days. You can say something original, my guy.
I did miss that. No, he may have studied the other ones a little too hard, a little too closely.
Oh man. Well,
so what do you guys think of Boston for next season? I mean, they're set up for a decent run here.
I mean, they've been in the talks for the last 3 years, right? They were in the finals against the Warriors 2 years ago. Last year, they got to the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe, right? Last year, and then this year they win it all. I mean, there's no reason not to think that they'd be a contender going. there's no reason not to think that they were better this year than they were when the Warriors played them a couple years ago, and I thought that was going to be a pretty tough series, and then the Warriors ended up winning in 6. And they just beat the brakes off of everybody. It wasn't just the finals. Like I think they lost 3 games the entire playoff run. You know, they're set up to do some real damage, at least for the next couple of years.
But that's totally the thing, though, is that like who in the East is ready to compete against Boston? It's not necessarily is Boston ready to run it back. Who can keep up? You know, the 76ers are a shell of themselves. I mean, Embiid, we're back to him, you know, doing antics and not being able to perform in the playoffs. Milwaukee's a question mark. They're trying to find new talent to go around Dame and Antetokounmpo.
Giannis, yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess Orlando's kind of on the up and up, but they're ways away to be able to compete against Boston. Miami still struggles in the playoffs. You know, they can't seem to figure it out outside of the one final they went to last year, and they lost to Denver. So,
and their
I don't know.
Superstar is aging. You know, Jimmy Butler is not getting younger.
Yeah, and I think he's a free agent, right? He has the ability to walk if he wants to, if he doesn't want to sign in. So who's in the East that's ready to compete right now? There really isn't anyone.
I think the East is wide open, depending on what Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and potentially the Knicks do in the offseason. It's kind of hard to see the Boston Celtics being dethroned as the Eastern Conference best.
Yeah. Exactly.
Coming out west, before we go too much into like free agency and speculation that we'll get into, let's pay our respects to the great Jerry West.
That pick.
So yeah, we last week, unfortunately, the logo, Jerry West, passed away. What do you guys have to say about Jerry West, man? I mean, we kind of owe a lot to what the Warriors are going through right now with their success, their previous successes. You know, with Jerry West, just being that voice, that leader, a guy that the front office and ownership can rely on. I mean, a very important part.
Jerry West definitely did everything hit Jerry West's way. Like it was Jerry's way or no way, right? That's kind of what's been written and what's been documented, that he was, you know, great talent, great person, great human being, but also like very stern about how he wanted things done. I'm just going to go out and put my tinfoil hat on and say that Jerry West passed away because he was not going to watch the Boston Celtics dethrone his Lakers and banners.
Get out while the
it, I'm
getting's
out.
good.
I'm out. Fuck this.
Yeah, Lakers just caught him a couple years ago, and he's like, nope, can't go back again. No.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear all of the you know, the remembrance of the past with Jerry West, where I think there was a few interviews they pulled on the radio, and they were playing them where Jerry West said that all those Laker teams, they probably had the best individual players, but Boston had the best team. You know, they had players that can play together, and the Lakers at that time just had players that just did their own thing. And on some nights it was this guy or that guy or whoever, and all these teams in the West couldn't deal with it. But then whenever they went up against Boston, they ran up against the best team.
Well, it's like that Kevin Durant, you know, I'm sure some other people have said it too, but the whole, you know, hard work beats talent and talent doesn't work hard, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely, by all means, I think Boston was a gritty, you know, put your hat on and go to work, but they were a team and they did it together. So yeah, I would agree with that 100%.
Absolutely. Switch over a little bit to the W. Cameron Brink tore her ACL and is going to she's out for the season. She's gone. Also, she was supposed to be on the team USA 3-on-3 team. So really sad ending for her season, as she was kind of a breakout rookie for the W this year. Did you guys see the injury? It was pretty sad to see. She was,
you could tell right away. It's like, you know, it was non-contact. I was like, oh no.
You kind of see the leg.
Yeah, the buckle. Yeah,
it buckled, kind of got wobbly, and you knew, and it was just really sad to see.
Yeah.
So hopefully she gets better and comes back next season, because she was somebody that's like pushing the league to new heights. It's definitely another talent
Right.
that people are interested in.
Yeah.
And she's definitely hotter than Caitlin Clark.
Oh, come on. Okay.
I was
moving
I was gonna
Moving
say
on.
she's kind of becoming that kind of icon for the WNBA. But hey, you know what? Everyone needs it in their league. You got to have all kinds of.
And Tyler's gone. That's right. Don't get too misogynistic, guys. Otherwise, you'll get cut off. We got to keep it at a level. Keep it like at a 3 or lower. Keep it 3 or lower. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Regular
Right.
squad.
Yeah. You can't have somebody play on both teams.
Okay, never
just
mind.
because the schedules overlap too much.
I was gonna ask if she was out. Does that mean that Brittany Griner's back in? But I guess it doesn't matter now. So
No. Yeah. Okay. So let's move on to
Warriors. Gary Payton III opts in. I mean, that makes sense. 9.1 million.
Gary Payton the second. What is this third?
I don't know who wrote that. Gary Payton the second opts in for his 9.1 million.
I was like, I didn't know Gary had a son that was old enough to be in the NBA yet.
Well, who typed it in the show notes?
I don't know.
Who did it?
You're going haywire here.
It was Tim, the guy
I
who
put it in
doesn't
as
know
2.
sports.
Okay. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah,
Welcome back, Gary Payton the second. Love that.
Yeah, that's and it looks like they're going to be keeping Kevon Looney on his $8 million team option.
Yep.
He could be a part of a trade though.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll probably talk a little bit more about trades later. But he could very well be part of a trade. I actually hope we retain him.
Well, you have, because they had until today to release him. So
right.
So he's got a contract now. He's got a guaranteed contract. And so at this point, do you trade that contract or do you keep him around? Because who else is going to play that the 5, even if he's not a starter? You need more than one big man, right? Trace Jackson Davis can't do it all, Yeah,
absolutely.
So
I think that the Looney not being released has a lot to do with Clay. Like there's so much what's the word I'm looking for? Darkness surrounded behind what's going to happen with Clay situation. Nobody knows, right? So I really think that like if there was a better roadmap or understanding what Clay was going to do, like because the Warriors, right now you're 8 million out of your books, right? And already a threshold that's pretty tough to get through, and now you got to find yourself another 2-year contract for Clay at whatever value that he's possibly looking that you guys can agree on. Good luck. I wouldn't want his Dunleavy's job right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he Dunleavy had a press conference earlier today, and he was being asked. It was a pre-draft conference, and obviously no one cares about the Warriors draft.
Yeah, you're picking
so they're
the
asking.
teams.
Yeah, so they're asking about all these free agent signings. But I would say that the Sacramento Kings may have helped out the Golden State Warriors because they signed their 6-man of the year, 6-man candidate to an extension, and he didn't even get $20 million. And
yeah, I wonder if that's because he took a team-friendly deal, because they're talking about trying to add another star to go along with Sabonis and Fox.
And De'Aaron Fox is not going to sign his extension this summer. So
right. So
he came out and said that.
I think also too, I think it's Monk, right? So Malik Monk.
Yeah.
I also think them being college buddies and best of friends from their Kentucky days, I think that had a lot of work going into the negotiation. Like, hey man, let's just keep this thing rolling together. We've been doing this since college. So I think that probably helped out too. But there's talks.
If Malik Monk got just under 20, no way in hell Clay is getting more than 20.
I don't know. Orlando might just do it. Orlando needs to sell some seats.
I'm saying if you're the Golden State Warriors, are you doing
Oh yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm looking at maybe 18.5 at max per year at max. If I don't even know if the Warriors can afford that now that Looney's got $8 million guaranteed on the books. So I don't know.
There was a lot of talk today of rumor, and looks like Paul George wants out. Sounds like the New York Knicks and the Golden State Warriors are really interested in Paul George. The Kevin Durant rumors are swirling again.
They always are.
Some of that is, I think there might be a little bit of smoke with the KD rumors. And the reason why is KD has 2 years left on his deal, which times up with Curry and Kerr and everybody else. And then also he's played in this system before, so you're not going to have. Let's say the Warriors go and trade for Paul George. There's going to be a break-in period. There's going to be a learning period, and if you don't win it all this year or this coming season, or get close, then you're a year older with all of these guys. So I think there is a little bit of smoke to the fire here with the KD stuff, because there's no way in hell Phoenix can keep all of this together when they literally have no room to bring anybody in. They literally
that's
have to
the
blow
thing
it up.
though. Like, what do they have? Like, what are the Warriors having to give up to get KD in order for the Suns to go, okay, now we have equity to make some
So
wiggle room?
not that what was being talked about today is not that Chris Paul would play for Phoenix, but they could base. So there's talks that Chris Paul can move his guarantee date back and then basically get traded to Phoenix, get bought out, or play there. And because you're going to need contracts to make up the money.
Right. The
And
money's got to match.
The money's got to
Trade.
match to a percentage. So, and Phoenix needs, they need a corpse. They need something to get rid of, and you can get rid of Chris Paul.
Wow.
So
what a terrible.
You're going to
ownership.
need a third team. You'll need a third or possibly a fourth team to truly make it work for everybody.
Yeah.
So Chris Paul could go to Phoenix, then to another team who would play him at 30 million. If you're the Warriors, do you bring back KD? Because that could potentially put you back in top of the West.
My thing is, okay, are we assuming Clay's on the team or not?
Clay would have to be gone because you would need the cap room to take on.
Okay.
It's not like when we got KD the first time.
Yeah.
It's not going to work like that, where they were just so happened to be able to just take on this salary.
Yeah.
So Clay would be gone.
Okay. So in that scenario, sure, I'd welcome it, but at the same time, if I was Moody, I'd ask to be traded immediately.
Well, Moody would most likely have to be part of the deal to make it work.
Okay, that makes sense then, because it's where's he going to get the playtime between him and Wiggins and Kuminga? It's not going to happen. So
what's the breaking point? Would it be you would have to get rid of Chris Paul? Moody would have to be a part of it. I don't think JK would be a part of it because
JK's untouchable
because of Booker. Like he wouldn't get playing time. I don't think he would pair up very good with Booker on a basketball sense. I think you might have to see maybe Pods go.
Well, that'd be tough. I don't know if I'd want to let him go though. I mean, the Warriors always seem to get like 50,000 point guards to start every season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not like they can't get another one, but I feel like Pods is a really special talent at a point guard position. That's what he does at a point guard position is not what most point guards do.
And you got to think he's going to get better, right? Like he's going to get better at shooting the ball, and he's already a better rebounder.
I mean, he led the league in charges.
Yeah.
So, oh God, I would say, yeah, my breaking point would be I can't let Pods go. I would definitely let Moody go. I'd probably trade Looney if that was a possibility too. Move that $8 million off the book.
What about Paul George? You get more athletic on the wing.
You're talking about for the Warriors to get Paul George. There's no way you're gonna be able to afford him. How are you gonna afford him?
Same scenario. Every scenario would involve Chris Paul. Chris Paul is gone. Moody is gone. And maybe Pods.
I just don't see the Clippers wanting to bringing back Chris Paul. I think that ship sailed a long time ago, and I don't think he's interested in trying to help out Chris Paul. You know what I mean? Especially given the fact that Chris Paul has been vocal about the Clippers organization since leaving.
I think no matter the scenario, you're going to have a third and fourth team, no matter what trade transpires with the Warriors, because there's not going to be enough assets for that team.
Tough. That's tough.
You know?
Well, you know what also is tough? We got to move on here a little bit.
Yeah.
Being a Lakers fan, if you get JJ Redick as your head coach.
Sorry, Daniel.
JJ Redick has now announced, I think it was a 4-year deal to be the head coach of the Lakers. He had his press conference today. He addressed the elephant in the room, which was, no, I've never coached in the NBA. So in case anyone was aware.
But I did play.
Yeah, I did play. He did come out and say that, look, the way I look at coaching, which I don't think that was the right answer. But if you're a rebuilding team, sure. I don't know if the Lakers are really rebuilding. I don't know. It's really weird for me to see him say it in this dynamic, but he was basically saying that one of his favorite moments towards the end of his career was helping mentor and tutor the younger NBA talent to make them better versions of themselves. To me, that sounds like you could be an assistant coach and do the same thing. I don't think that's a head coach's job.
Right. Yeah.
So,
I do want to just point out one thing that I saw actually is just to list some of LeBron's accolades by the time the year 2006 rolled around. LeBron was a 2-time All-Star. He was 2-time All-NBA. He was the All-Star Game MVP, and he had Rookie of the Year. His new coach, JJ Redick, was being a pain in the ass at Duke at that time. So it's just he's not really going to be like coaching LeBron, you know.
It's not even a foregone conclusion that LeBron's going to be with the Lakers because.
Well, that's true, but yeah, it's just a little amusing to me that he was just being a pain in the ass at Duke at the time that LeBron was already like a household name.
So what if KD and LeBron end up on the Warriors?
Oh my God!
That's never gonna happen.
Even
if the Warriors somehow,
but no Clay,
in their lap they landed Bronny James, LeBron still wouldn't come to the Warriors. It's not happening.
Bronny's only getting hyped up because of his name.
Because
like he's
his name, yeah.
5 points and 2 rebounds a game at USC. Like that doesn't get you drafted unless your name is LeBron James Jr.
In the final year of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
In a conference that wasn't even.
And I watched some of those USC games. He was unimpressive. I honestly, I forgot he was on the court at times. Like that's how much he factored in games.
Obviously, somebody's going to draft him because of the name, and then it'll draw, attention. And all press is good press, right?
Miami.
So yeah, could be.
Not one,
they're drafted
not
late
two,
enough.
not three, not 4.
Oh man.
Cleveland assistant Kenny Atkinson.
Let's repeat that. You cut out a little bit. Cleveland hires Warriors assistant Kenny Atkinson as their next head coach. Sorry, Sam, you cut out there a little bit.
You cut out. So farewell, Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of knew he was going to get a head coaching job again.
Yeah.
He almost did last year, right? And then he kind of like recanted and came back.
I think that was with the Nets. I think they were like talking about making him come back, and he was like, I don't really want to do it. Yeah, I think Kenny Atkinson, thank you for your time. You got a ring with us, so there you go. I don't think it's going to be on the level of Sacramento losing that of an assistant coach. We're like, damn, I kind of wish we still had him on our roster, on our squad here. So, but good luck. I don't know what's going to happen in Cleveland. I mean, Jared Allen wants out. The Spider wants out. Everyone wants out. So I don't know who Kenny's going to coach, but should be fun. His problem, not ours.
Right.
Yeah. Good luck over there, buddy.
All right. Okay.
All right. Switching to hockey.
Yep. Stanley.
And tonight is Game 7. This thing is tied up
1-1 right now in the first intermission.
Yeah. The Hockey Stanley Cup has been really exciting to watch.
Yeah.
Florida went up 3-0, and Here come the Oilers.
Edmonton's won the last 3 games. 8-1, 5-3, and 5-1. So they've really found their scoring touch, let's just say. And game 7 is happening
Florida
right now.
physically just unstoppable the first 3 games. Now the last 3 games, Edmonton just looks like a team. It's like the Penguins versus the Sharks. They just all of a sudden look 5 times faster.
Yeah, it's been wild, man. Like Connor McDavid found that extra gear. Like he was just not able to
pass, dude.
Yeah, and
I think it was game 4 or 5. That
Yeah.
pass where he's going down the line and puts it through the dude's shoelaces and then to his teammate. I mean, the speed, the coordination of that, and when that goal happened, I was telling me and Julia were watching it. I was going crazy about it, and
Yeah.
she's just all right. And I'm like, do you know how crazy hard? Oh my god, the skills. She's like, okay, I believe you. Okay, all right.
Yeah,
But it was just truly exciting. I mean,
Yeah,
truly
absolutely.
exciting playoffs.
he's he's the best player in the league, and he's getting his chance to show it on the biggest stage. And it took him a couple of games to wake up, but god damn did they wake up. And
And
like
you
I said, it's
that- you said
1-1
that
game
last
7.
show.
Oh,
Yeah, I obviously I got timed out here for some odd reason, but I'm assuming we're talking about McDavid, right? That's
Yeah.
a good
Yes.
assumption. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. I also am saying this is going to be a gigantic collapse if Florida doesn't win this out, because to be up 3-0, I mean, there's only a handful of teams that are in hockey that have completed this collapse, and one of them we're not going to talk about here.
we're not talking about that.
Ouch.
Moving on.
Ouch.
Speaking of,
We don't speak of the season that shall not be named.
that's right.
Yeah.
My screaming pillow if we're gonna keep talking about it.
So I know it's tied right now in the first period, but who do you think is? I know who you're rooting for, Vince, but
Yeah, I'm rooting for Florida. But also the word rooting for Florida, I don't like the way that just sounded.
you're
But let me
rooting.
just
Dude.
say,
You're
I'm-
rooting for him.
I'm rooted.
You're rooting.
Yeah,
Are you rooted in
fucking
Florida
rooted.
though?
No. I'm just I guess I'm choosing the lesser of 2 evils. And Corey Perry getting his name on that Stanley Cup again does not sit well with me. Evander Kane getting his name on the statue as a Sharks fan does not sit well with me. So yeah, I guess I'm hoping Florida wins it, but even then, when they do win it, I'll be like, yippee,
Yippee ki
yay, jazz hands. Yeah, thanks, Tim. Okay, so like we said, this game is ongoing right now. We're about halfway through the first intermission, so if you're watching live, maybe put that game on mute in the background, and then when we're done here, put the sound on, and then watch the rest of a game that is sure to be a classic as it stands right now, because this is it's only happened 9 times. It's only the 9th time that a team has even forced a game 7.
Vince, you could tell our fans to like and subscribe, so that way if they want to, they can come back in their subscribe section and rewatch this podcast.
Yeah, but I mean, I want them to stay here live right now.
Yeah.
Moving on.
But keep go ahead and like and subscribe regardless.
That's right, absolutely. Yeah, it's the little thumbs up button. You got it. Guys.
Vince, Tyler switching over to Sharks hockey.
Yeah,
We got some off-season activity for our boys. So what's going on here, Vince?
Okay, so the Sharks claim Barclay Goodrow from the Rangers. He has 3 years and 3.6 million average annual value remaining on his contract.
I like that.
So it's 3 years, a little under 11 million remaining. That's a pretty reasonable price for a guy that can score. He's a middle 6 forward. So, and it sounds like
Explain
he
that, because
wasn't-
I don't know if Sam knows what that means. What do you mean by middle 6?
so second line or third line, basically.
There you go.
He's not a first liner. He's not a fourth liner.
I know
he's
what that
more in the
meant.
middle.
I read stuff.
Yeah, out of bed. It was for the other people at home who may not know. Yeah, so I like the signing personally. It sounded like Barclay Goodrow was not thrilled with the way it went down. The Rangers were looking to trade him to try to clear up some cap space.
But he had a no
And-
trade clause.
Exactly. He had a limited no trade clause, and it sounds like
And
the
San
Sharks
Jose
were
was
on
on
the
it.
team.
Yeah.
So he's not totally thrilled to be coming back. I wouldn't be either. If I'm being honest, the team is not in a place right now to win, and he wants to win. So if he's gonna win, it's gonna have to be in that third year of that contract. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Hopefully he can provide a little bit of a scoring boost because the Sharks need all the scores they can get their hands on, man.
Absolutely.
Another move that they made was they acquired another forward. I'm not going to try to pronounce his name is Igor Afanayasev, something like that, from the
better effort than what I would have given you.
From the Nashville Predators in exchange for Ozzy Weisblatt, who was their 2020 first round pick. Ozzy never quite made it up to the show.
I watched him a couple times with the Kudus, but yeah,
it sounds like he was just kind of blocked a little bit. He wasn't quite making as much progress as they were hoping, and so that's another first round pick that they've sent out in the last couple of years. Oddly enough,
yeah, I feel like this is more of an even lateral move than it is anything else. To be honest with you. Money makes sense. You're both getting a young talent that could potentially be something for you. Maybe not
and
a
just
star player, but something.
But I think both players probably need just a change of scenery.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a fresh voice in your brain, can bring out more out of you. Sometimes, who knows?
Yep.
All right, Tim. Let's go and put this up right now.
New logos for
new logos. The LA Kings unveiled their new logo. Anaheim is expected to unveil their new logo later this week, probably around the time the draft happens on Friday. And they're both kicking it back old school. The Kings are bringing back the Gretzky era logo, just kind of cleaned it up a little bit. And as for the Ducks, they're getting rid of the stupidest fucking duck foot fucking flipper thing, and they're going back to that classic duck hockey mask look. Is what it sounds like. Like that's the we put it up here. It's a leak right now. We don't know for sure what it's going to look like, but it's going to look like this, basically, guys.
Why didn't they go back to the green and purple? No offense on the orange, but it just looks so much cleaner with the green and purple in terms of Anaheim Ducks is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Obviously this isn't an official release that we have here. This is just the a potential leak design, and maybe they tweak it from here. I think I saw the eyes look a little more menacing. They have a little bit more orange in the eyes. Try to sharpen those up a little bit. But
I think they leaked a little bit of the eyeball. There's like something going on there.
There's some anger in the eyes there. It does look a lot better. I do like this the Ducks hockey mask. I like that a lot better than the stupid fucking duck foot, man. Like it's I'm glad that they're going back to something that looks good, man. This is they're not a great team, but you got to sell merch somehow, right? Bring back a good logo.
Yeah,
that'll get the job done, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know about the Kings. Their logos are always just kind of a little boring to me. But we'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of uninspired by the logo by the logo change for the Kings. But again, it's not my team. I can admit this change for the Ducks going back is great. This change.
If I was a Ducks fan, I'd be like, yeah, I want that. That's what I want.
They're all hyped for this. I'm sure of it. This Kings logo change, I don't know that I'm that hyped for it. I mean, Daniel was. We talked to him a little bit about it. He didn't sound all that enthused.
Right.
I think he wanted the crown. Like that's the logo that they probably should have gone with the lion on it too, like that. The crest looking logo from like the one that followed after this this new LA Kings one.
Yeah.
All right, let's take this down, Tim.
Arizona, the Desert, they are no more, but they had this option. The owner had this option to the Morello family. He had an option to get a land auction and build his new stadium on it.
Right.
It's canceled.
Yeah, they canceled the land auction, man. So basically what happened was this is Arizona state land. This isn't City of Phoenix land that was being put up for auction. It sounds like the Alex Morello didn't have all his paperwork in line because he's a jackass. He didn't like it. Like he didn't have all of his ducks lined in a row. He couldn't shell out $5,000 to have a lawyer just take a look and make sure that the land is properly zoned for it yet. You know, so and so that's basically what they're waiting on. So the state of Arizona, like their land management, whatever, they said, hey, we're going to cancel this auction so you can get your stuff lined up, because it sounds like they do want to try to work with him a little bit. And what does Alex Morello do? What does he do instead of threaten? Yeah, he's threatening a lawsuit. He's threatening a lawsuit because he's not a serious person. These are not serious people. We say that about fuck John Fisher. Alex Morello is right there with him. He is a clown of the highest order. And I think the league needs to see they gave him 5 years, but he really has 3.5 to have the stadium like already,
because you need 2 years. You need to announce 2 years prior.
Yeah, exactly. So he's burning away this first year right now just by refusing to fill out a form. And now he's, you know, this is more precious time. I think the NHL is going to be so glad.
He needed to file like a zoning permit, like like a parks and entertainment district permit.
Yeah.
And he did not do that. His staff did not do that.
Right.
And now we're here.
Yeah, it's, I mean, and it's just like, my guy, like, you don't say like, I'm threatening a lawsuit. We're considering all legal actions. You say, we're disappointing with this decision, but we look forward to still continuing to try to purchase this land.
What's there to be disappointed about? They took the land auction off the bid table so you can get your shit in order, so you have the opportunity to bid. Because if we keep the bidding open, even if you win the land, you did not fill out the proper paperwork to put a stadium.
Yep.
Like, you need to get your paperwork and your stuff in order.
Yep.
There's a lot of red tape, as these major infrastructure projects do. They're doing you a solid.
Yeah, dude. Come on.
Just say, hey, it is what it is. We're moving on. We're going to work with the county on this. We're going to work with the state on this. And we're going to get there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the statement. You and I just did better PR for the for Arizona Coyotes than the Arizona Coyotes have done for the entirety of Morello's ownership, to be sure. And even before that, like the last few guys that owned the team as well, man. Like it is a shit show. And I feel terrible for
that's it.
The fans. They're like they're getting strung along a little bit. This is honestly probably going to be the best thing to happen for them, though, because at some point, Alex Morello is not going to get the job done. He's going to lose that right. Somebody else can come in and resurrect the Desert Dogs, and that's going to be a lot better in the long run because, at worst case scenario, it's a lateral move for whoever takes over the team next out of him. You at least, there's at least hope with a new face.
Let's just give the land to that hockey team that was on the East Coast, the Thrashers. I think it was the trash can people.
The Atlanta Thrashers.
No. There was an East Coast team. They were also like a trash can logo, but at least it was all run by the mafia. But at least they got their paperwork in order.
Right. Good God.
What team was that?
There's a movie about it. It's a actual real life situation where this kid, his dad was a mobster, and he was a spoiled kid, and he said, I want to own a hockey team. And so his dad bought him a hockey team, and it was wild. It was like, think about the San Francisco Bulls back in the day, how they had like $2 beers, but like times 10. Like people fighting each other in the stands happened on a regular basis. It was quite absurd. It was all completely run by the mafia. His dad owned a garbage company, so that should tell you something right there too. And it was just a spoiled kid whose dad said, "Here you go, kid. Here's a hockey club. You own it now." And They just ran that thing to the ground. But at least their paperwork was in order.
Yeah. They paid that attorney his $5,000.
It was a team in Connecticut. I just
There
looked it
you
up
go.
right now. Yeah, they were in Connecticut.
Wow.
It was the Trashers.
I was
Yeah.
close. I was close.
Yeah,
Okay.
not the Thrashers.
Well, you
Yeah,
had the
Trashers.
trash can logo. So
Yeah.
At first, I thought you were just saying it was a trash logo, but it's literally a trash can logo.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right, guys, moving on to
other
Oh, wait,
trash.
Wait, real quick, before we move on to
Oh.
the trash here. The NHL draft is in 3 days. Is that correct?
It's on Friday. Yeah, first
Oh.
round is on Friday.
Just want to point that out there in case anybody is curious when the draft's going to be. 3 days. We get
Yeah.
to see the first
Or-
pick go to San Jose.
4 p.m.
There you go.
Yeah, that's when Macklin Celebrini will be donning the teal.
We all
It's
get to
gonna be-
celebrate.
Yep, that's right.
I
Get your
know. I
beers
know.
ready.
There's a solid chance that it's probably going back to college. Probably.
There's a
Let's say
chance, yeah.
51%. Man, I hope he comes to San Jose. I want to see it, dude. Like, even if they stink, you want to be there
Mhm.
and just they're getting better.
Yeah. I mean, Will Smith confirmed that he's going to the pros, not confirmed that he's
Yeah,
going to
he
be with the
signed.
Sharks.
No,
but
he signed. He signed.
He's
But,
signed. He's on. Yeah.
I would love it if he would give him a call and just be like, hey, man, let's just do it together, man. Let's go.
He probably can't call him yet because
Yeah,
like
he's
not
tampering
drafted
or
yet.
whatever.
He's not technically a shark. Like,
Yeah,
so
as soon as the Sharks officially draft Macklin, that's when the communication and that kind of stuff can happen. And I'm sure that they're going to make a push for him to turn pro right away. And he's pro ready. Like, I mean, as the only thing he can really get in college is just growing a little bit more. Filling out the man body a little bit more, get a little more muscle or something like that. But you can do that at the pros too. So, I mean, skill wise, he's there. He's ready to roll. This is a Jonathan Taves level talent. And
real quick, I was reading some history of Edmonton's, Mark Messier, and when he was coming up into the league, the Edmonton Oilers had Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky.
It's so wild. That's why those Edmonton teams kept winning, man.
Like, holy shit! Like,
Yeah.
can you imagine if Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith and William Eklund turn out to be like all three of them? I mean, if you get three guys that could be really good,
yeah,
holy shit, man.
You can turn it around pretty quickly. Yeah.
And being that the cap, that the Sharks are in good cap position right now.
Yep.
You
can go
could
pick
keep
up some talent.
You could keep a team like this together for a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
So, all right, let's move on.
All right, so we were talking trash before. Let's talk trash again. That's right. It's Earthquakes time, baby. Let's All right, so they take the L against the Portland Timbers 2-1 on Wednesday, and then they come back Saturday and lose 6-2 at LAFC. So they have 11 points on the season. That is dead last in the West. This coming Saturday, they're playing against the LA Galaxy, and that's going to be at Stanford Stadium. That is the California Classico. So that's going to be a fireworks game happening at Stanford. But also, news that broke today, they fired their head coach. Luchi Gonzalez is gone. Of course, he was totally the problem, right? Yeah.
I don't even think he had a
he was
cup
there
of
for
coffee.
barely. He was there for barely a year. Like, he took over in like May last year, I think. Like April or May
Coaching's the
last
problem, guys. The
Yeah,
roster has been built. The ownership made a financial investment, and it's the
Mhm.
coach's fault.
year. Yeah. So this guy named Ian Russell is going to take over as the interim head coach for the rest of the year. The rest of the assistants are going to stay for the rest of the season as well. Yeah, it's just more beclowning themselves. John Fisher is, man. You can't build anything with all this turnover, man. You can't expect to get good if you keep changing the guy trying to, run the system every goddamn year, man.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
You're saying that John Fisher's not a good owner?
I'm saying that, yeah. It's bold of me to say. I know. I'm really standing out on a ledge there. God, the bar is in hell. Jesus Christ. Spend a little more, you fucking clown. Okay. You know what? Let's switch gears. Let's talk about Bay FC because that's a team that does money. Go ahead, Tim. All right, and they get the win against Angel City 1-0. Tess Bodie in the 33rd minute. She scored off a cross from Emily Menges. Menges and Bailey had like this really sick give and go down on the right side. Then Menges passes it to the center, and Tess Bodie just cleans it up and puts it home. She also Emily Menges becomes the 9th player in NWSL history to get 15,000 career minutes in this very game. She's
That's
also wears the
crap ton of
armband.
minutes.
It's a lot. That is a lot of games. Only 9 players have done it now. So this is a ton of experience. She's an excellent player who she was in Portland, and so she helped them win a lot of games up there in Portland before she came here with the expansion team.
Assuming she's just played without the extra time involved, it's at least 167 games. At least.
Oh yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean she's played almost every minute for Bay FC this year, so she has played every game. I think she only was coming off the bench like once, maybe twice this year. I've watched most of the games, and she's pretty much always been out there. So, very steady center defense. So yeah, this is a huge achievement for her, and salute you. So right now, Bay FC's current record, they are 5 wins, 9 losses. They're actually 11th in the NWSL right now. Their upcoming game is at Racing Louisville at 1 p.m. on Saturday. I'm looking at them in 11th right now. If they had won last week against the bottom dwellers Utah, if they had put away their chances last week, we'd be looking at them in 7th right now. Like, this is how close the teams in the middle are right now, and they're on the bottom end of the middle. Like, they could be in a playoff spot right now. Top 8 make the playoffs.
Is it like 15, 20 more games left, something like that?
15? There's 12 more games left.
Okay.
So yeah, everybody plays everybody else once. Once at home and once at away. So
got it.
And 14 teams in the league. So yeah, that's our Bay FC update. We're gonna go ahead and move on to Copa America. I don't think we have an image for that, did we? Yeah, we did. We just have the score. All right, so USA gets the 2-0 win against Bolivia on Sunday in Arlington. Kristen Pulisic in the 3rd minute from the left side of the 18-yard box. It was a piss rocket, man. He goes far side and is off the goalkeeper's fingertips. And then Balogun at the end of the first half, he goes low off a pass from Pulisic, basically in the same area. He goes low to get past the keeper. Pulisic's goal was prettier. I think Balogun's goal was tougher. That one.
Yeah, man. I mean, I know Balogun, when we last talked about him in the World Cup, he was like 19 or something like that. So I'm really hoping big things for him now that he's older, kind of got into his body more. So
yeah, it was a little bit tough for the last few months for him. He hadn't scored basically since September, I think.
Yeah.
So maybe this opens up the floodgates for him a little bit here. The next matches are Thursday versus Panama at 3 p.m. and then Monday 6 p.m. against Uruguay.
Nice.
Right. Yeah.
Man, I'm loving it. I'm loving all of the soccer stuff going on right now. I mean, you even got Europe's, going on too. And I'm seeing some of the stuff that their fans are putting together. I mean,
yeah,
it is just wild.
Yeah. People are taunting the Italian fans by like snapping spaghetti at them. People are, they're doing the same thing with baguettes to the French fans as well. Snapping baguettes in front of them. Fans are kind of wild. They're going all out. The signs are pretty cool too.
I sent you guys a video over the weekend. It was like Germany. This one man brought a black saxophone and just lit up a crowd of thousands of people. Like they do. I love seeing those videos. It looks like there's a lot of joy and passion. I saw some video of some drunk guy. I don't know what team it was. Maybe it was Germany as well, but the fans were all cheering. And every time they would cheer, they go, "Oh," because somebody would come up and try and pour a beer that they had balanced on his head because he passed out from drinking. So
Oh
he had
no.
a beer cup on his head, and they would like purposely pour a little bit of beer and keep going and see how far they can get it up before it tips over.
Oh man. Yeah, so fun.
Good
Man.
classic fun.
Yeah. So by the way, Copa America is technically the South American Championship. Same but because there's only 10 nations that are in South America, like agreed to play soccer or whatever. So their championship, they always invite a couple extra teams. And this year they invited 6 more. So the field was 16 strong this time. And
Nice.
that's how USA is actually hosting this tournament, oddly enough, too. So all these nations from South America came up to host their own tournament in USA, which is kind of fun. This happened to get back in 2016 as well. Just fun facts.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
All right. So yeah. Just I think it's time to move on to baseball. Just one before we do the Willie Mays stuff. Fuck John Fisher as always. Okay. So let's talk Willie Mays real quick, Tim. We got here we are. So I actually in 2010, I see this I got this bobblehead. The baseball also bobbles. So
Nice.
in 2010, my uncle works for a company that had a suite at Giants, at AT&T Park, Oracle Field, Oracle Park, whatever the hell it's called now. And I guess a vendor canceled on him. So he's like, "Hey Vince, you want to go to a game, get a Willie Mays bobblehead?" Hell yeah, I do. So that's how I ended up with this Willie Mays bobblehead. This is mine. I got to the stadium early. My dad and it basically turns into this whole family event. And my dad didn't get a bobblehead because he elected to take the ferry over and take his time. My uncle was like, "I want to get a bobblehead." I'm like, "I'm riding with you. Let's fucking go." So that's how I have a Willie Mays bobblehead, and it is the catch. It's the 1954 World Series where he's going over his head to make the catch. And it's a prized possession. It was hiding in my dad's house for the longest time. I went over there this past weekend and snagged it because now was the time. So this,
thanks for storing this bobblehead for years and years.
For 14 fucking years
and
liberate it from
for the podcast.
Yep,
Thanks,
that's
Pop.
right.
Your dad said something very similar to what my my stepdad said, that Willie was one of his first baseball heroes, and in fact, I had texted my stepdad after the passing, and he basically said that it was a sad day for him when he was 9 years old when he watched Willie play, and he was his hero. So he's one of the reasons why he will die a baseball fan. So Willie Mays, rest in peace, my guy.
That's right. So the picture we put up is the patch that the Giants are going to be wearing for the rest of the season. So it's it's on the front, and then we put a zoomed in close up of it. It's just Mays 24. It's it's basically the same logo that they have that's for his retired number in the stadium, and that's I think it's a nice tribute. And obviously he passed away just before they played in Birmingham, for that game for the Negro League Classic or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
So the news broke that he wasn't going to be able to make it down there. Like, I guess we knew he wasn't doing too well apparently. But then Tuesday, I think it was when he died. So that game was on Thursday. So it turned into sort of a truly special remembrance for him. And a magical player,
I liked MLB Network, and I think ESPN as well had some of color analysts on air, kind of talking about their own Willie Mays stories, or just talking about Negro Leagues in general. And one of my favorites was the one where Derek Jeter asked Barry Bonds if he was going up against Satchel Paige, would be able to hit a home run off of him. Barry Bonds goes, "Who me? Gone." He goes, "If I don't have
say the internet outrage that Barry Bonds got is just bullshit." Okay, Satchel Paige, I obviously we never got to see him pitch. He was 60 years old when he pitched for the A's
For
Kansas
that
City,
one inning in Kansas City. Yeah.
and they said so
65,
there's
yeah.
like a bobblehead of him in a rocking chair. Did you see this?
Yeah,
There's
yeah,
a
yeah.
bobblehead of him in a rocking chair drinking a cup of coffee, which
Mhm.
apparently that happened. That like when he
Yeah,
came into the game, he was in a rocking chair. Like
that legit happened. Yeah.
so peak Barry Bonds and peak Satchel Paige. I mean, in one game, maybe not. Maybe Barry Bonds, strikes out, grounds out, whatever. But a course of a season and how many at bats, you got to think at some point the biggest home run hitter of all time is gonna get him. Like,
yeah.
like, come on.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
Satchel's going to get him a couple of times, but
Right.
Barry's, I think, going to get him as
Barry,
well. So
that line over the course of a season, a career, like what are we talking about here?
I think in a 3-game series or whatever, assuming Satchel Paige is pitching all 3 games or whatever, I guess in 3 games, I feel fairly confident Barry's at least getting on base. Like at the very least.
I mean, to say
if he's
that,
not hitting a home run, he's hitting a double.
Right. Barry Bonds going, 0 for 4 on 3 strikeouts and no walks. Like that's hard for me to believe, like.
Yeah. Well, also
So-
too, Satchel Paige would probably pitch all 3 games. I mean, back then they pitched like 72 innings and they were like, we're good to go for tomorrow.
Yeah. There's some guy I read about that he pitched like a 10 inning like no hitter and lost or some stupid shit. I'm surprised Reggie Jackson stuff.
Yeah, Reggie Jackson's story was wild. I think I sent you guys the videos, but this was the 80s when he was with the A's, and he was talking about how, obviously racism isn't gone by any means, but the level of racism that he got, I was a little bit shocked that he would be denied access to restaurants and hotels and whatnot during the 80s. And I was just thinking, like, how crazy must it have been for Reggie Jackson? I mean, granted, he had great teammates, like Raleigh Fingers and whatnot, of being able to say, hey, look, if my guy can't eat here, if my guy can't sleep here, we're not staying here either. Like, we're going. Like, good on you to stand up for your teammate. But I was just thinking, like, how crazy it must have been for Reggie, knowing that, like, in Oakland, there was a lot of radical movements of trying to be more welcome and inviting for all likes of people. And then you had the rest of the country. You know what I mean? Like, he could walk around and go into any restaurant he wants in Oakland, but then he can't do that if he goes to Texas or Tennessee or whatever, right? Like, God, it just must have been so brutal on Reggie Jackson. And it's just a side that I've never really honestly thought about until Tuesday when they had him on TV talking about it.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why it's important to, like, have guys on sharing these experiences and telling people about it, because it's little things like that a lot of people aren't going to think twice about. Like I'm never going to get turned away from a restaurant,
Yeah.
That's never going to happen to me. Like, for
it
money,
can
not-
if you went to Japan, because there's certain restaurants they don't allow tourists.
right. No, I mean, but I don't have the money to go to Japan right now. So that's far from my mind. But like here in America, that's never going to happen to me. I don't have to worry about that. But there's a huge chunk of the population where they do have to worry about that. And it's important to just, like, even if you're not part of that community, it lets you think about that a little more and just kind of make you see a fresh perspective, I guess. And that never hurts anybody to see the world through another person's eyes. It helps bring us a little closer. Yeah.
I don't want to hijack Reggie's about his personal experiences in the time. I watched this interview and listened to this interview multiple times. I probably heard it a dozen times now. I feel like baseball having this event, it was a great event, but I also feel like it's, putting the stats of the Negro Leagues into MLB and doing this event, the way Rob Manfred and the rest of these shit owners are acting, to me, as a, mixed race white guy, it comes across as we're accepting the stats. We did this event. Everything is fine. Nothing to see here.
Right.
But
They're
what
checking a
pisses me
box.
off, it's a check box.
Mhm.
But what pisses me off is they're doing all this, I'll say fan service to a degree, right?
Lip service, I think, is a good
Lip
word
service.
for it. Yeah.
But then you're still hijacking a baseball team out of Oakland, California, let's be honest. Let's be honest here. What is the number one ethnic group in Oakland, California?
Yeah, of course.
Like, and you're saying you want the black athlete. You're saying you want more African Americans involved in baseball, but you're going to go spend millions. These teams spend millions of dollars a year to get into foreign markets, to sign other players from other countries, but you're not going to keep a team in a black community.
Mhm.
Like it,
Right.
I'm sorry, it's bull.
Oakland is like the top most diverse city in America too. Like if you claim you're for diversity and then you're leaving the most diverse city where you have an established franchise that has a history of winning, it's I'm so pissed off about the entire thing.
It doesn't add up, dude. And I don't know if we talked about this last time, but Reggie, a few years, years ago, he tried to buy the Oakland A's, and he was part of this ownership group, and he was gonna go over a bid, right? Whatever the next bid, it was 10, 20, 15 million, whatever it was, overbid. And he kept going to the commissioner, Bud Selig, and Bud was okay. I'll talk to him. Talk to the guys, and never happened. Went to John Fisher. So I just think, baseball, as you said, Vince, it's lip service. But all of these current owners, I mean, we were texting about it. Cincinnati Reds owner, Marge Schott.
Back in 1990.
She's just the sweetest lady.
Maybe she's gone, but the people who replace them, who replace these other owners, these Tigers don't change their stripes, man.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's I feel like Reggie went and really didn't want to go, but he knew he was going to have an opportunity to talk about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I do really appreciate his story and what he said, but I also really appreciate him calling out his friends, his teammates, and that he could not get through this without his teammates, that he would not have gotten through this without his white teammates, his white manager, a white owner of the team. He wasn't going to get through this trial, through this trials and tribulations, scenario.
I think he said that he was an aggressive
he would have killed
kid.
him.
Yeah, he was an aggressive kid, and he didn't want to stand by the wayside, man. He wanted to stand up for himself. So
he
said he was going to make this.
He goes, somebody was going to say something to me, and I was going to beat somebody's ass, and they were going to tie me up into it, onto a tree.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I do appreciate the story. I do appreciate him shouting out his teammates. Raleigh Fingers got a lot of shout out, from Reggie Jackson.
Catfish.
If anybody's watching this, if you haven't seen the interview, like, go and watch it. And the panel, Alex Rodriguez and these other guys, they had no idea this was coming.
Yeah, they weren't ready for that at all.
Their reaction, like, Alex Rodriguez kind of has this not laughing in a negative way. I think it was laughing and giggling in the sense of like,
this is awkward. I'm not ready.
Yeah. So I'm not trying to throw any shade against these guys. I'm a guy who will sometimes like laugh in an awkward situation of like, oh shit, I can't believe this is happening.
Right.
Yeah, Big Poppy put down his microphone. He was like, "I'm not talking through any of this. You got the
Yeah,
stage,
yeah.
Reggie. It's all yours."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just really
All
sad
right.
that
Yeah.
he went through that and what's going on with baseball right now. But
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. We got one last note to talk about. Tyler, you put this in, I believe, right?
I
the
did.
golf-
Just because I ended up catching it yesterday and I just thought it was ridiculous. So if you're not already aware, Scotty Scheffler is the world's #1 golfer in PGA terms. I know there's live golf and all that shit, but PGA, Scotty Scheffler's #1 golfer in the world. At a couple tournaments back, he got arrested. If you're not aware of this situation, because there's a misunderstanding about a cop telling him to go and a cop telling him not to go during essentially what was a crime scene. And then he misinterpreted it as going. Cop, just being a short-sighted asshole, falsified his report. Almost got Scotty Scheffler, serious jail time for all this stuff. But he was released. Ended up playing. Did pretty well given the situation of being arrested 6 hours prior to his golf tee time. So come this Sunday is the Travelers. This past Sunday was a Travelers Championship. And Scotty Scheffler and Kim are battling from the 17th to the 18th hole to win the tournament. And on the 18th green, Scotty Scheffler has to stop putting because those piece of shit oil protesters come out onto the field and start spray painting everything on the ground and running out. And you could just see Scotty's face as like 7, 8 cops just come running by him. So the joke was that he was having some PTSD from 2 golf tournaments ago. But Scotty Scheffler ends up pulling out the tournament win there and is your winner for the Travelers Championship. But man, what a rough few weeks for Scotty, man. I think he's done seeing cops for a while.
Score update. Florida just took the lead with almost 5 minutes remaining in the second period. So,
Nice.
Florida's up.
Nice.
Florida.
All right, what do we got here? I'm
That's-
always curious to see what these are going to be.
here we go. Memes of the weeks. No,
we don't have any.
we don't have any. Oh, okay.
No, we didn't send any. We didn't actually
Oh.
send them. It was just basically we've all been living in the world of Haktua. So that's just yeah. I don't know how to segue into that, man. I think that basically does it for us, though. Yeah.
Yeah, well, say
That's
just
just
spit
bad
on
to
it and we'll call this one a day.
That's right.
Our Tim is just absolutely dumbfounded with how stupid we are sometimes, and it's great. I love it. I love
So
all of
dumb.
it. You guys
So dumb.
can't see him, but I promise you, he is not cheering in excitement.
He's like, no, I don't have it. I don't have any. Okay. All right. Moving on. Let's just wrap this up. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Subscribe, hit the like button. That'll let you know when we're going live if you subscribe. You can follow us on Instagram and Threads at SVT Sports Pod. Slide into them DMs, baby. Let's go.
Have a good one, guys.
All right. Later.